Solid drawing. This principle is about making sure that forms feel like they are in three-dimensional space with volume, weight, and balance. One thing that makes animating a lot easier is being able to draw a figure from all angles. This requires knowledge of three-dimensional drawing. For example, when drawing a line on a sphere, it must follow the contour of the sphere's surface. A straight line instantly makes the circle look flat. When drawing cubes, avoid making parallel lines. Lines should be bent towards the vanishing point, otherwise it will look like a flat symbol or a logo. When doing a rough pass of the character, use basic solid shapes like spheres, cubes, and cylinders to construct the character, instead of circles, squares, and rectangles. This will help you be mindful of the space they're in. Another thing you can do is draw perspective lines on the ground to keep track of their distance from the camera, so that you can know when to draw them bigger or smaller. When moving on to the clean line version of your character, be very mindful of overlap, and try to include it whenever possible. Without overlap, everything appears to be on the same plane, but just adding a single line here and there can define where surfaces come out and where they recede. Another thing to note when doing lines is to avoid symmetry. Symmetrical lines look flat. Try to pair a straight line with a curved line, or offset two curved lines, so it looks more natural and dynamic. The principle of solid drawing applies to 3D animation as well, in regards to portraying weight and balance in the pose of a character. For example, avoid what's called twinning, which happens when the arms and legs and other paired features are doing the exact same thing. This is a known affliction that animators have to make a conscious effort to avoid. Instead, lean it over to one side, or put one hand on the hips, or give it a slouch, or do something to show that it has weight and has to keep its balance in a 3D environment.
Solid drawing refers to the artistic fundamentals of animation. Essentially, an animator must remember that their character doesn't exist in a two-dimensional plane. To avoid this, animators would occasionally use 3D replicas of characters, called maquettes. Disney supervising animator Aaron Blaze explains.
These are the maquettes that we get. They're basically just a three-dimensional reference for when you get weird angles that might be a little difficult to draw out of your head. It's there so you can go, oh, okay, that's how you do it.
Thomas and Johnston warn of twinning, having a perfectly symmetrical character, or a character's arms and legs moving the exact same way. This too would go against the principles of solid drawing. Today, solid drawing is often automated with computers, generating 3D characters for an artist. Still, many animators maintain that the basics of solid drawing are fundamental knowledge for anyone starting out in the industry.